How are you? I'm very pleased to have this personal meeting with you. Please, take a seat. And now, allow me to ask you to forget all your problems and relax while I present to you the master key that can open the door to any opportunity your mind is capable of conceiving. The master key consists of 17 principles. The first of these is Definiteness of Purpose. Right here, at the beginning of our meeting, I'm going to make you a promise. If you firmly decide what you want most in life and write it down so it can be clearly read, I will give you the master key that will open the door to achieving your desires, no matter what they are. The right moment for me to hand you this master key will depend solely on when you are ready to receive it. This is the first of 13 messages I'll be delivering to you. In each message, I will describe the master key in terms you can understand, if you're truly ready. And now, I'll give you the first clue. Because the very nature of the master key is responsible for all great achievements in every profession, in every part of the world. Please listen carefully to what I'm about to say. You might discover the secret of the master key right here in this very first visit. You may get your first clue about the nature of the master key when I tell you this. Psychologists have discovered a natural law that forms the foundation of all personal success. I can describe this law in a short sentence so you can easily understand it. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Isn't that a powerful statement? You'll notice it doesn't say anything about education being necessary. It simply says, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Now, if you want proof that the mind can achieve anything it conceives, even without formal education, remember that Thomas Edison imagined himself becoming an inventor, and he lived to become the greatest scientist in the field of invention, with only 3 months of formal schooling. The first time I heard Andrew Carnegie describe this natural law, the law that enables any person, including you and me, to determine our worth in life and claim it, I became so excited about it that I started researching the power behind it, and my curiosity eventually led me to discover the master key, which I will reveal to you if you're ready to receive it. Now, let's move on to the second of the 17 principles that will guide us toward the master key, the key that will unlock the door to fulfilling your greatest purpose in life. This principle of success is called the Mastermind Principle. I want you to understand the true nature of the Mastermind Principle because you must apply it before you can take full possession of the master key. Here's a clear and simple definition. A mastermind is formed when 2 or more people work in perfect harmony toward a common goal. Now let me give you some fascinating facts about the mastermind that will show you how essential it is to adopt and use this principle to achieve success in the occupation you've chosen. First of all, this is the principle through which you can acquire and use the education, experience, influence, and even the capital of other people to carry out your own plans in life. This is the principle through which you can accomplish more in 1 year than you could in an entire lifetime, depending only on your own efforts. And I've heard well-informed Bible scholars say that the first recorded use of a mastermind alliance was the one between Jesus of Nazareth and his 12 disciples. Of one thing I am absolutely certain. When you form a true mastermind alliance with others and work with them in a spirit of complete harmony, you will gain access to powerful spiritual forces within yourself that will help you achieve your plans and desires. I also know that the Mastermind Principle can offer you absolute protection against failure, as long as your purpose in using it is beneficial to everyone you intend to influence. While I was developing the science of success, I had the cooperation of practically every man of outstanding achievement this country produced in the last 50 years. And I can tell you, with confidence, their success was due, above all, to their understanding and use of the Mastermind Principle. I'd also like to point out that our great American way of life and our unmatched system of free enterprise was built on the Mastermind Principle. The greatest document ever conceived by the mind of man is a perfect example of the Mastermind Principle in action, the Declaration of Independence. And the greatest proof of how important harmony is in a true mastermind alliance can be found in this fact. The 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence knew very well that it could either become a document of freedom for all mankind or a death sentence, which would cause every one of them to be hanged. Now, let me show you how the Mastermind Principle has brought success to people we all know. First, consider when Kate Smith began her singing career. She struggled to earn enough money through her singing to cover her basic expenses, and perhaps she never would have succeeded if she hadn't discovered and applied the Mastermind Principle. It was by forming a mastermind alliance with Ted Collins that she gained access to the master key of success. According to an article I read in Reader's Digest, Kate Smith earned over $13 million, and even after that, she continued to earn income. I remember when Edgar Bergen and that charming little wooden figure known as Charlie McCarthy used to perform anywhere they could get a gig. And I suspect that all they earned at the time was just a meal in exchange for their act. But Edgar Bergen was a smart man in the entertainment business. He formed a mastermind alliance, which brought him and Charlie into the homes of millions of people through radio and television. And I'm sure he no longer worries about money. You might be surprised when I tell you that the great Ford industrial empire began with a mastermind alliance between Henry Ford and his wife. At the beginning of his career, Henry Ford was shy and lacked self-confidence. It was Mrs. Ford who gave him the faith and courage to keep improving those carriages without horses, even when family and neighbors constantly told him to stop wasting his time with that contraption, as they called it. The Federation of States, known as the United States of America, is the wealthiest and most powerful nation any civilization has ever produced. And the secret of our strength and wealth lies in our form of government, a federal system where all our states work in harmony through the Mastermind Principle, coordinated by a central government located in Washington, D.C. If you work for a salary, you have a wonderful opportunity to increase your income or rise to a position of greater responsibility by forming a mastermind alliance with your fellow employees, including your management team. Now, this third visit brings us to the success principle that has marked the turning point for every person who rose from the bottom to the top. It's the point where people start getting what they really want out of life. This principle is called the habit of going the extra mile. It means giving more and better service than you are paid for, and doing it with a positive mental attitude. I'm going to tell you everything I know about this magical principle of advancing through your own efforts, because it is the one rule you must follow if you expect to define your own value in life and be sure you'll achieve it. Let me explain this success principle with a short formula you can easily remember. I call it the QQA formula, which stands for quality of service you render, quantity of service you render, plus the attitude with which you render that service. These three elements determine the position you will occupy in your chosen field and the rewards you will receive for your services. If you take a close look at the successful people you know, you'll discover that they follow this QQA formula, even if they do it unconsciously. But I want to give you a big advantage over those who apply it without knowing. I want to show you how to use it deliberately, with purpose and strategy, so that this principle will start producing big results quickly. Now, let me list some of the benefits you'll enjoy by adopting the habit of going the extra mile. This habit will attract attention from people who can give you opportunities to rise to better circumstances. And they will. This great natural law of going the extra mile will place you in a position where your services generate greater rewards than usual. Following this habit will make you indispensable in your job or profession. And when that happens, you'll be in a position to determine your own worth. It will help you stand out in your field, because every time you perform a service, you'll strive to do it better than you did before. If you work for wages or a salary, This habit will give you job security during tough times when others are being let go. It will also help you benefit from the law of contrast because most people won't go the extra mile, and you'll shine by comparison. This habit of always doing your best and doing it with a pleasant attitude will improve your personality and make you more likable to others. It will also help you develop your resourcefulness and an active imagination, since you'll constantly look for better ways to offer your services. It will inspire you to develop your own initiative instead of waiting for someone to tell you what to do. And this habit is the first step toward leadership. The habit of going the extra mile will also build tremendous self-confidence and give you the courage to move forward without fear of criticism. And here's a fact that, by itself, would justify adopting this habit, even if no other benefit existed. It will help you break the destructive habit of procrastination, which is one of the leading causes of failure. Going the extra mile will influence others to respect your integrity and will inspire them to cooperate with you in a friendly spirit. This habit will help you develop a definite purpose, which is the starting point for personal success, and will prevent you from drifting through life without direction or clarity. Now here comes the great reward this habit will give you. It provides the only justifiable reason for asking for a promotion or a better position in life, with higher pay. If you're doing more than what's expected, then you're entitled to be paid for what your work is truly worth, and you have every right to ask for it. You understand this point, and you value what it means, don't you? And finally, though certainly not least, the habit of going the extra mile conditions your mind to form mastermind alliances with others. Now, we move on to the visit, where I'll reveal the greatest of all benefits. And with this presentation, the master key to success will be within your reach. I call this the greatest of all benefits because it is the fourth of the 17 success principles. And through it, you can tap into the supreme power that moves throughout the entire universe. The name of this principle is applied faith. And I want you to remember, this isn't something I'm bringing to you. It's something you've always had, even if you haven't yet learned how to use it. Now, let me explain what applied faith is and what you can do with it. Applied faith is the mental attitude with which you can clear your mind of all fear and doubt and redirect it toward the achievement of your deepest desires in life. In our first visit, I told you that every one of us, you, me, and anyone, has been blessed with complete control over one specific thing, our own mind, and the ability to direct it toward whatever we choose to accomplish. Applied faith is the mindset you must develop and maintain before you can have full control over your mind. It is through applied faith that you will break the seal of that symbolic envelope I mentioned in our first visit and take full possession of the 6 forms of wealth that become yours once you've claimed control over your mind. As you may recall, those 6 forms of wealth are sound health, peace of mind, love in any form you desire, freedom from fear and worry, a positive mental attitude, material wealth in whatever amount you choose. Right now, at this very moment, you and I are standing in front of the door that can only be opened with the master key to success. And I am giving you the clearest clue yet, along with the method of how to take possession of this key. To condition your mind to adopt and use applied faith, you must understand that there are 2 ways to use it. You can apply faith in a negative direction, allowing your mind to focus on things and circumstances you don't want, such as poverty, illness, failure, or defeat. This, unfortunately, is what most people do, which explains why most people go through life in misery and lack. Or you can take control of your mind and direct it to focus on the 6 riches mentioned above. And by doing so, you will attract those blessings and benefits into your life. Isn't it a strange fact that most people use this great power of faith negatively, believing in poverty, illness, fear, failure, and defeat, when it would be so much easier to redirect their thoughts toward the things they actually want? Now let me describe to you the one thing that makes the biggest difference between Successful person and an unsuccessful one. Please listen carefully and think deeply about this, because this is where most failures begin. Successful people, in every field and profession, share one outstanding quality: the ability to believe. Failures, on the other hand, tend to see the hole in the donut, but not the donut around the hole. I'm happy to be here with you for our 5th visit, where our topic is one of the most critical of all: a pleasing personality. Your personality will determine whether people are drawn to you or repelled by you. It's how you present yourself to the world. It's what sets you apart from every other human being. It's the personal stamp by which people recognize you, and it will decide your success or failure in selling yourself throughout life. That's why you must learn to see your personality as others see it, so you can improve the parts that need development. Your personality consists of more than 30 different traits, characteristics, and habits, but due to time limitations, I'll only highlight the most important ones. But first, I want you to know that every trait in your personality is under your control. You can improve it, you can shape it, you can make it what you want it to be. Let's begin with the most important trait of all: your mental attitude. This is the trait that determines whether people are attracted to you or pushed away from you. Your mental attitude must be positive if you expect to attract others to you. How can people know whether your attitude is positive or negative? That's a good question. And the answer is simple. People can sense and respond to your attitude through telepathy, without you saying a single word or making any movement. But there are also other ways your attitude is revealed: through the tone of your voice, whether it's kind or harsh; through your facial expression, whether it's soft and pleasant or cold and stern; through your courtesy and consideration, or the lack of it. So, as you can see, it's impossible to hide the exact nature of your personality from others. The next important trait of a pleasing personality is the flexibility of your mental attitude, or the lack of it. If you have mental flexibility, you'll be able to adjust to all kinds of circumstances in your relationships with others, without losing your composure or allowing yourself to get angry or upset. Just remember this: if your attitude is flexible, no one can upset or anger you without your consent, without your cooperation. Now that's valuable information, wouldn't you agree? You cannot control what others do, but you can control how you react to what they do by developing this trait of mental flexibility. You'll notice that people who reach the highest levels of success all have this kind of mental control and flexibility. They manage their reactions no matter how others behave. The third important trait of a pleasing personality is the ability to control and direct your emotions, especially your enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is one of the strongest ways to energize your words and actions, but you must be able to turn it on and off at will, like a faucet. Uncontrolled enthusiasm can become irritating and may open the mental gates of influence too widely, allowing others to control your thinking without your consent. The fourth trait is the practice of sincerity. A person who is not sincere in all dealings with others will quickly be discovered and rejected. People don't trust and don't stay around those who try to deceive. Sincerity is a quality of character that can't be faked for long, not even by the cleverest trickster or the most skilled actor. Dishonesty gives off signals that people can sense and recognize right away. This visit brings us to the 6th principle of success, without which the previous 5 principles would be useless. It is the principle of self-discipline. Self-discipline, as I am presenting it here, relates not only to the control of your negative habits, which block your path to success, but especially to the development and application of positive habits, the very ones you'll need in order to benefit from the 6 forms of wealth we've already discussed. Now, let me give you a list of the most important areas where you must exercise self-discipline before you can adopt and use the master key to success. Control your tongue. Develop the habit of thinking before you speak. Say only what you're sure will be helpful and won't harm others. A loose tongue is often one of our greatest weaknesses. Resist the urge to strike back. Practice self-discipline when you're tempted to retaliate against those who have wronged you, whether the offense is real or imagined. Remember, whatever you do to or for others, you do to or for yourself. Because every action and thought, whether it helps or harms, comes back to you multiplied. So if you ever feel the need to criticize or insult someone, don't speak it. Write it in the sand by the sea, and then walk away and let the waves erase it. Control your emotions, especially the big four: love, hate, fear, and sex. These are the most powerful of all human emotions. They can build you or destroy you, depending on the degree of control you have over them. Discipline your mental attitude at all times. A lack of discipline in this area will drive away your friends, destroy opportunities, cause mental and physical illness, and rob you of inner peace. Let's now give special mention to the emotion of sex, because failure to control it is perhaps the leading cause of personal failure. Sex emotion is the most powerful of all emotions. Its nature is deeply creative. It's the force through which all living species are continued. The proper method of disciplining this emotion is through transmutation, which means controlling and redirecting this powerful energy toward higher purposes, such as the pursuit of your greatest goals in life. The greatest leaders, artists, speakers, industrialists, and professionals have all learned the art of sexual transmutation through self-discipline. Because of how delicate this subject is, I've limited what I share in this visit. However, I have covered this topic in greater depth in several of my books. You must also discipline your stomach by developing proper habits of diet and fasting. This is an area that should be guided by your doctor, so I won't go into details here, except to draw your attention to the importance of taking responsibility for it. Personally, I credit much of my own good physical health to the healthy diet and fasting habits I've developed over the years. You must exercise self-discipline in the areas of religion and politics. In our country, perhaps the most successful model of civilized society the world has produced, we are made up of people with diverse beliefs and opinions on these topics. To be happy and prosperous, we must learn to live and let live, to offer others the same freedoms and respect we demand for ourselves. And this, in most cases, requires strict self-discipline. Now, this brings us to our 7th visit, and I hope to place the master key to success in your hands before we finish. Because this topic brings you so close to the key that you may finally recognize it, just as I've suggested in our previous visits. A positive mental attitude can remove every obstacle that stands between you and your highest purpose in life. Because of how important today's topic is, I want to tell you not only that a positive mental attitude is the first on the list of the 12 great riches of life, but also to give you clear instructions on how to develop it. In all the success books I've written, I've never suggested what someone should do without also explaining exactly how to do it. So, are you ready? If you are, this visit may bring about the most important transformation of your life. Here are the steps. Learn to adapt to the moods and behaviors of others, as well as to difficulties, so you can maintain peaceful relationships. Refuse to get involved in trivial disputes or to get dragged into controversy. Truly great people avoid small, petty arguments whenever possible. Establish a definite daily routine to condition your mind first thing in the morning so that it remains positive no matter what happens. Learn the art of selling yourself to others indirectly. Do this by asking questions that guide others toward giving the responses you desire. And avoid arguments about unimportant matters. Adopt the habit of laughing out loud every time you feel irritated or angry. This really helps, especially if you begin each day with 1 full minute of strong, healthy laughter. It changes the chemistry of your brain, and you start the day with a better attitude. Just make sure to do your laughter exercises in private. Start each day with a sense of gratitude for all the defeats, failures, and hardships you've experienced in the past. Search for the seed of equivalent benefit that each one gave you over time. Then give thanks in advance for the blessings you expect to receive throughout the day. Learn to focus your attention on the part of your problems and desires that you can do something about. Start from wherever you are and take action. No matter what your problem or goal may be, there is always something you can do right now that will move you forward. Find that first step and do it. Learn to transform every unpleasant situation into immediate action that helps trigger a positive mental attitude, and make this a regular habit. For example, if you're feeling angry, redirect your mind toward an activity connected to your favorite hobby or your major life purpose, and stay focused on that activity for 5 minutes. Recognize that every circumstance in your life, whether good or bad, is simply a life lesson. Use it. Learn from it. Keep in mind that your greatest strength often comes from your battles. If you follow these instructions, you'll soon discover there's no such thing as a wasted experience. Frank Bettger, author of How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling, listed enthusiasm as the first of his 14 success principles. And enthusiasm became one of his greatest assets, because he learned that a great self-starter is enthusiastic and acts with enthusiasm. As the great psychologist William James once proved, emotions are not immediately controlled by reason. They are controlled by action. We can't accomplish anything important until we become enthusiastic. Now, Dr. Hill will explain how you can develop the feeling of enthusiasm in everything you do. Our 8th visit brings us to the subject of enthusiasm. It can be compared to the steam in a boiler. When controlled and properly directed, it powers the machinery into action. Someone once said, "Knowledge is power." But that's only half true. Knowledge only becomes power when it is put into action toward a definite goal. Enthusiasm is one of the most powerful forces that can bring your education, your experience, and your knowledge to life. Our 9th visit brings us to the 9th principle of success, which is personal initiative. Personal initiative is the dynamo that puts the faculty of imagination into action, transforming your chief purpose into its physical or financial equivalent. If your goal is to rise above mediocrity, you must learn to act on your own initiative, because success is something you must create for yourself, without being told what to do or how to do it. By the way, Cus Curtis, former owner of the Saturday Evening Post and one of my collaborators in organizing the philosophy of success, coined an important slogan about initiative. There are 2 kinds of men who never get very far in life: those who can't do what they're told, and those who can't do anything else. Curtis's point is clear. The people who accomplish worthwhile things in life are those who act on their own initiative, without waiting for orders or permission. Those who have distinguished themselves in public life, from George Washington to the present day, are those who chose their own occupation, business or profession, and then acted on their own initiative to fulfill their purposes. Today, the fastest-rising people, no matter where they start, are usually those who promote themselves by taking initiative. The habit of initiative not only inspires us to meet our own responsibilities, but also motivates us to follow through on our commitments, pleasantly accepting whatever it takes, because a winner never quits and a loser never wins. Here's a fact you might find surprising. A great success is made up of a great number of small, often insignificant circumstances, ignored by most people who think they're not worth bothering with. For example, many think initiative isn't important, but just look at the track records of some of our greatest successes, and you'll see that they all depended on initiative. No one told F.W. Woolworth to start a 5 and 10 cent store. That idea was his own. He acted on his initiative and built a fortune exceeding $1 million. My distinguished partner, W. Clement Stone, started his insurance business with an operating capital of only $1, and through his own initiative, grew it into a multi-million-dollar operation. It was his habit of initiative that inspired him to join forces with me to bring the philosophy of success to millions around the world. Our 10th visit brings us to one of the strangest of the 17 principles: the principle that makes it possible for you to turn adversity into fortune. Every disappointment, defeat, and failure you encounter from now on can become the stepping stones to greater success. Yes, the principle of learning from adversity enables you to convert past mistakes and setbacks into future achievements. At the start of this visit, I want to stress that your positive mental attitude is the only way to turn adversity, defeats, and failures into assets. It seems destined that everyone will face adversity as a natural method to discipline us, teaching us the necessity of controlling our own minds. Yet, the Creator has wisely provided us with the means to convert these experiences into invaluable benefits, namely, our privilege to adopt and maintain a positive mental attitude. Despite all the advantages adversity can offer, nobody seeks out misery. A failure or defeat is just as unpleasant now to me as it was in my 30s, when I first learned about setbacks in life's great university. In fact, I'd be unfair if I didn't tell you, my greatest blessings came from my greatest adversities, but I never would have recognized them without learning that every adversity carries the seed of an equivalent benefit. That is the main point of this visit. Once you learn that adversity brings its own dividend, you can form the habit of seeking that seed in every experience, no matter how painful. Now, let me give you some powerful examples proving that failures and defeats can be turned into triumphs. Milton S. Hershey, famed for founding the Hershey Chocolate Company, was once a farm boy paralyzed by illness. All but his mind remained healthy. From that adversity, he conceived the idea of producing small confections and built an empire that now sells chocolate across the nation. Franklin D. Roosevelt, stricken with polio in his childhood, could easily have spent his life begging on the street. Yet he converted his affliction into a driving force, rising to become President of the United States and serving longer than any leader before him. So, while I do not encourage you to seek adversities, if they come, remember, do not fear them. Transform them into the steps that take you anywhere you want in life. Our 11th visit brings us to the principle of creative vision, the force that builds all our plans, goals, and purposes. It has been said that imagination is the workshop where the mind assembles the plans of life. I know of no better definition. There are two types of imagination: synthetic imagination, which organizes and combines existing ideas, concepts, or facts into new arrangements. Almost everything civilization has produced is synthetic, an old idea recombined. Creative imagination, which operates through the sixth sense, rooted in the subconscious, and is the exclusive channel for truly new ideas to be revealed. Let me offer some examples of synthetic imagination in action. Edison's incandescent lamp was a synthetic creation, joining two well-known principles in a novel way. Clarence Saunders applied synthetic imagination when he founded the Piggly Wiggly grocery stores, borrowing the self-service model and applying it to supermarket retailing. Henry Ford's first automobile merged the horse-drawn carriage and the steam engine, two old ideas combined into his self-propelled vehicle. The ice cream pop, created by an inventive soul who dipped ice cream in chocolate on a stick, spawned an entire new industry. F.W. Woolworth's five and dime stores combined variety retailing with low prices, creating a chain that generated millions annually. Even centuries ago, one of the psalmists wrote, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord." From antiquity, people have valued the power of original thought and ideas. Our 12th visit focuses on the laws of precise thinking, using inductive and deductive reasoning as the foundation for correct action in any situation. Accurate thinking rests on two simple bases: inductive reasoning, used when all necessary facts aren't available. You act on hypotheses or beliefs until facts can be confirmed. Deductive reasoning, used once facts are known, separating them into important and unimportant categories. A fact is important if it helps you to fulfill your chief purpose in life. All other facts are unimportant and a waste of time. Here's an exercise to master precise thinking. At day's end, list all the facts you encountered, sorting them into 2 columns, important and unimportant. After repeating this daily, you'll gain clarity and prioritize effectively. Next, recognize that most opinions are worthless, rooted in prejudice, conjecture, and emotion, rather than fact. Such unfounded opinions are the source of countless failures. Our 13th and final visit examines a universal natural law, the cosmic habit force, the power that underlies all habits, good or bad. This law, like gravity, governs the universe. It holds stars and planets in orbit and shapes the life patterns of every living creature, from insects to the largest animals. But man alone has the power to override these built-in patterns and establish his own habits, directing his thoughts, actions, and desires as he chooses. The cosmic habit force is the ultimate key to ensure your chosen habits become permanent. Think of it as a faithful watchdog, observing every thought, every act, and rewarding or punishing you according to the habits you form. Once you understand this law, you realize there is no neutral ground. You either use its power to build the habits you desire, or it uses its power to cement the habits you don't want. There are no halfway commitments in habit formation. You will reap exactly what you sow. That completes the full translation into American English. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments, expansions, or if you'd prefer to see any section again.